Production funding for Arts Upload has been provided in part by Muriel McBrien Kaufman Foundation, Hall Family Foundation, Francis Family Foundation, the Hartwig family, Courtney S. Turner Charitable Trust, and viewers like you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Randy Mason.
And I'm Maris Aylward.
She's co-hosting for two.
And we're all here at Arts KC with stories about theater the Spinning Tree way.
Also the Kansas City Film Office and how Tech 9 sets up for a concert.
Plus the favorite fountain in KCK and more.
All ahead on The Upload. These days, Kansas City has gotten quite a reputation as an arts town.
Visual arts in particular, but also as a music town.
And I would argue it's a theater hotspot as well, with more equity houses than lots of larger cities.
The newest of them is Spinning Tree Theater, formed 5 years ago by a pair of musical theater veterans who decided to put their passion and producing to the test.
5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, stop again. We've just done that, so we're still in our bevel.
And you have two.
We always tell the actors, on the first day of rehearsal, we will contradict each other, just like parents, Don't try to come to one of us. If Michael says no, I'm not going to say yes. Or if I do, follow Michael.
And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Bum, bum.
Some of the actors in 9, I think only 5 of the 13 have we worked with before.
True. Yeah.
So we knew them, but we're also challenging them in roles that our audiences wouldn't necessarily expect to see them in.
That's true.
In many ways, 9 perfectly encapsulates the Spinning Tree approach. It's a well-crafted, well-regarded musical that's seldom performed here, chock full of challenging roles for local actors to stretch their range, including jazz singer Angela Hagenbach, making her musical theater stage debut.
It's a beautiful show. It won the Tony Award. I think we also like that it's all women and one man. As we all know, there are not enough female roles in the theater. So it was really kind of nice to do that. And that was a great experience, and we worked with such beautiful talent.
Of course, running a small theater company brings with it plenty of custodial and middle management tasks that also have to be done before the crowd comes streaming in, if it actually does.
Yeah, I don't think you create a theater company and think no one's going to come. You just decide that people are going to come. And then when some nights they don't, or you have a very small amount of people coming, it's very humbling.
The good news? More and more seats are being filled. And Spinning Tree's seasons, which started with 3 shows, are now up to 4. The decision to try this in Kansas City, Parker's hometown, rather than Cincinnati, Grayman's, appears to be a wise one.
We have discerning, intelligent patrons who demand that we bring shows in that they haven't seen before.
And then when we do a show that people have known, like West Side Story or Fiddler, doing it in a new way so that they come out sort of saying, I get the story, almost in a way for the first time. We've gotten that from people, which is so cool too. I've seen the show so many times, but I've never really seen this show, and that's also rewarding to us. We're always doing something that we're passionate about, that we love, and it's our baby. So yes, there are of course days when we're like saying, what are we doing running a nonprofit theater company? But most of the time we're basically saying, this is what we're meant to do.
It may not look like it, but this is an historic moment for Spinning Tree Theater. For the first time in 5.5 years, its 2 co-founders are hunkered down with an artistic committee composed of notable folks from all walks of Kansas City theater.
And so you guys are willing to take on classics and approach them.
We're asking them to help us continue to find Spinning Tree Theater's place in Kansas City. Also, in a new political climate, we want to look at what this particular company can do.
You have to know that you're an instrument that can
And it never
produce.
stops.
It never stops if you're a playwright.
They're also weighing in on the best ways to handle a small scholarship for theater studies the company plans to award at the end of the season. It's an idea spurred in large part by the unexpected success of last year's youth musical, 13.
What's different about Spinning Tree is they give you full liberty to try anything that you want to try.
I find shelter from the rain in a darkened doorway.
Vanessa Severo has acted twice for the company. Now she's directing their second production of Shipwrecked, recounting an Englishman's adventures in the 19th century, with less regard for the truth than the thrill of the tale.
You have one actor that's telling the story, and then you have two other actors, a man and a woman, and each play 20 roles.
I'm a sailor!
Wonderful. And so you're going to see them go through this whole story. It's a marathon. They don't leave the stage. They're always going. I kind of want to see it, a lot of
We thought, whose production of Shipwrecked would we want to go see? And we went through the list locally, and we thought Vanessa. So we were thrilled when she said she'd like to do it.
That's a good boy. Just because I'm spending time with someone new doesn't mean I don't care about you anymore. We can all be friends.
It's kind of part vaudeville, part radio play. There's no real scenery per se. The actors make all of the sound effects themselves.
Shipwreck is, to me, what theater's all about. Getting lost for an hour or two in the theater and just imagination going crazy.
Shipwrecked and the show that follows it, Stephen Sondheim's Assassins, will both run at the Just Off-Broadway Theater. But that doesn't mean that settling into just one place is part of the plan just yet.
You know, it's still the two of us, although we're kind of growing here and there, but it's still the two of us. And so right now this is manageable with the renting of spaces.
Don't nobody know my troubles but God.
Every time someone says, oh, you're working with Spinning Tree, God, I just love those guys, everybody, because they're genuine, you know? And that comes through in your artwork.
5, 6, 7, 8, up, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3.
We had our career dreams come true as performers, and then some. So I think that helps, that there isn't a sort of bitterness of, we don't approach actors like, oh, I could be doing that better than you, or I wish I had that experience. It's all, we respect our history in theater as performers, and now we are continuing to learn how to be on the other side of the table as producers and directors.
The folks here at Arts KC are always working to remind people how much economic impact cultural activities can have.
$275 million annually across the metro.
Movies, film, and TV production are part of that, which leads us to our next story about the Kansas City Film Office and how it's back in business again.
Producer Ashley Holcroft found your film officer and our former co-host of Uniquely Kansas City, Steph Scupham, hard at work inside Visit KC.
Kansas City, meet your film commissioner, Steph Scupham. She added the title to her already lengthy resume in 2014 when the office was reinstated.
I really got here simply because I had a lot of different kinds of experience. Television, commercial work, film, marketing, even sales, and even in front of the camera as well. I think having all of that kind of experience has contributed to me being able to be what I am in the industry.
She describes herself as a sort of customer service agent and liaison to the film community, ensuring their time here runs smoothly. But the history of the office has been anything but smooth.
We had a very, very thriving industry in the 90s, and we had a film office back then. And then the office got defunded. The guard changed as far as politics go in the city, and the office was then closed. So the beautiful part of that is that people took up the mantle on a volunteer basis. And that same group of people really rallied for an official film office to be reopened. And we had that opportunity with the Mayor Sly James. The arts task force that he created recommended that a film office be reopened.
And in just 2 short years, the office has achieved impressive results.
I'm really proud to say that we've been able to touch, as an assist in some way, 422 productions. Not all of those ended up filming here, but those are all relationships that we're able to start.
But many of them did, each hiring a percentage of local crews, renting equipment, and staying in Casey hotels.
The kinds of projects we see run the gamut. Small, large projects like the independent films that came in this summer, and some television shows and television series. I've assisted, at the very least, 6 international productions that have come here. And just to give you an example on that kind of impact, one of the independent films that came through this summer, called All Creatures Here Below. They've sent in all of their final paperwork, so we have a look at what their direct economic spend is, and in the KCMO boundaries alone, it's $400,000.
Another kick to the Casey economy came when American Ninja Warrior rolled through in the summer of 2015. But far more than mere financial gains were banked.
The cool part about that show is that they film in so many cities. And I know for a fact that they had a really good experience in Kansas City. One of those executive producers emailed me as soon as they were done and basically said, I would like to be a reference for you to bring in more work. Kansas City was just such a special experience.
You want to go to Kansas City?
Why?
You know, you seem friendly.
You don't have to prove that your work is good. It is.
Think of it as store policy firing you.
Not only are people surprised that we have as much as we have here, including a skyline, including such a vibrant arts community, including professional crew, including all kinds of diverse locations. They're surprised by that. And then when they're not working, they really enjoy our city.
And when it's all said and done,
the strategy of the film office is to make the industry aware that we're here and we're open for business, that we want the business.
It's interesting to note that ours is the only city in the country which has a tax incentive program for film production, even though the state it's in doesn't. That's something that Steph would love to see get changed someday.
Well, we're also the only city of fountains, right?
Correct.
Which is why my favorite fountain is a regular part of Arts Upload.
Earlier this week, Mark Dupree, Kansas City, Kansas native, was sworn in as the newly elected district attorney of Wyandotte County.
So you can probably guess where his choice might be located.
Producer videographer Dave Burkhart takes you to a year-round waterworks at the Legends.
This is my favorite fountain because it's out in the Legends and it's close to where I live. The number one reason is because my children love it. My children absolutely love it. They're 4, 5, 6, and 7. And when they see the water shooting up 50 and 60 feet in the air, I tend to turn around and they're running toward the fountain and away from me. In my field, I deal with a lot of intense, legal, wonderful issues. But then I can come out here and I can just forget about everything that I'm dealing with, everything that's going on, and literally just listen to the water. And that's what water does. That's why I'm glad it's just not a normal fountain, right? Water is that thing that connects and that is vibrant and connects in every person in every lifestyle. Throughout the year, this fountain keeps going. It doesn't stop, and I like that because that's what Wyandotte does. We keep going, and we are a community. Can you tell I'm biased? Can you tell I love Wyandotte County? I love this fountain because it's not just beautiful, but it's actually making change for the good. And what is it? It's an organization that allows nonprofit organizations to literally come and scoop all of the funds that's in the water, and it's given to nonprofit organizations. And in the last year, they've given $5,000 worth of change that's been scooped out of here to 5 different organizations. I've never seen a Christmas tree in a fountain until I seen it here. During the Christmas time, the top tier, the water is taken down, but then there's this tree that's erected, and it's beautiful lights, but the second tier water is still shooting around it. It's almost like harmony comes to pass between the lights, the water, and the holiday season. And it really is a connecting feel amongst everyone that's out here.
Authorized Personnel Only is a new series on our digital magazine, Flatland. In it, Brad Austin goes behind the scenes at different events and activities. When rapper Tech-9 was setting up for a concert at the Midland Theater back in November, Brad was there.
I have a individual relationship with everybody that works at Strange Music, our label, with everybody that's a crew member on the tour. These guys are super important to us.
Everybody thinks that it's this glamorous lifestyle. You know, oh, you get to travel around the country on a tour bus, and oh, you know, you get to travel with Tech-9, and you'd be amazingly surprised how wrong you are. It is you know, 14-hour days with very few days off. It's a grind. It's an absolute grind.
I'm on the road average of 6 to 7 months a year. Big spring tour, big fall tour. Little one-offs here in between there.
I would just say that there's an awful lot of work that goes into it. Obviously, there's hours of programming, which can be extremely tedious.
These dudes come in and they work from the time we load in at 11 in the morning until the time we load out at night. They get done loading out at night about 1:30 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? So they're working over 12 hours a day. And I want to show them that I appreciate them.
I think if people walk away with, you know, it must be a fun time and a party all the time, then in my mind, that's kind of what they should feel like. That's what they should walk away from. It means that we're doing what we should be doing.
Yeah, you basically have to adapt to everything. Because even if you've been someplace, a lot of times, you know, they'll upgrade or change things from one spot, you know, from one day to another.
I'm only one guy. I'm mixing for 5,000 people or 10,000 people at some venues, so some people might like the way it sounds, some people might not like the way it sounds. That's what I got to deal with every day. So I try to do what I can to make all 10,000 or 5,000 or 200 people hear the same thing so that it all sounds the same to everybody. But as one guy, to try to make 10,000 people happy, sometimes it doesn't work out.
Concerts are important, I mean, from a business side of things, with music going digital and that kind of thing, concerts are more important than ever just in terms of the money they bring back in. Ticket sales, merchandising, it helps perpetuate those artists' careers. And, you know, if you were to get down to the basics of it, you can't find a lot of CD stores anymore. Best Buy is not selling a lot of CDs. Those big marketplaces aren't selling CDs. It's all about getting the artists out in front of the fans and going to those cities and getting them that concert experience.
You're a celebrity when you get home. Of course. You know, you get to work for the #1 independent rapper in the world.
Tech is huge in this community, and he's huge for this community.
I say that it's playing in Kansas City is great, and I don't want to ever say it's bad because there's nothing bad about it. It's just more pressure. It's more pressure. When we come here, I don't answer the phone at all when I come to Kansas City because everybody's trying to get in the show for free. I always say all my friends want to buy $300 outfits and get in the show for free. So if you're not close enough to call my wife, if you're not close enough to my circle to call the wife, then you're probably not going to get in. We get probably the loudest roar. I mean, we play in front of 20,000 people. I'm not sure it gets louder than the roar we get in Kansas City. Even we play at the Midland, we play at Power and Light, you know. So it actually, it's been a couple of times where I've been on stage in Kansas City and I felt like just crying.
Next Friday the 20th, Tech-9 will once again roll through the area with a concert at the Granada Theater in Lawrence.
Speaking of putting on big shows, Arts KC is getting ready for its magnum opus, the annual Electrify Luncheon on February 23rd. awards, performances, and they'll kick off their 2017 Arts KC Fund Drive, raising money to help support artists and art organizations.
Of course, things happen here all year round as well. The building's open on first Fridays. The gallery features lots of local art. Color portraits from the Black Artists Network will be here through the end of February.
Okay, our final story this week is really sweet, about an artist named Jim Stevens who makes amazing things despite being legally blind.
It comes to us from the folks at Rocky Mountain PBS who put together this heartfelt profile.
Art can be done quickly and look brilliant. My work can't be done that way. The work that I do does require patience because one wrong line, one wrong dot, one misplaced scratch, and it's ruined. I paint portraits on monofilament line. Each layer I paint in a shade slightly different from the layer in front so that it grabs the eye and pulls it down and through all 8 layers. And when you look at it, no matter where you stand, the painting always gives you a different perspective back. And what happens with my work today is that people will start to walk by it and then stop. And they back up and they look and they go, what? And they come around to the side, they look to the side. And when people look at them, sometimes they ask me if they're holograms. No, they're paintings. It's a painting. But I want to engage people. I want people to be interactive with the art.
I've been working with my dad to get into bigger shows that he probably wouldn't normally put himself into. I really kind of just have to tell him what it is, because if I say a monofilament painting, of course the answer is, well, what is that? And so I just have to tell them it's 129 strands across, 8 layers deep of hand-painted fishing line. And as soon as I get to the fishing line, they're like, well, wait a minute, start that over? Once his art has been accepted on its own merit, then I will tell them, oh yeah, my father's the artist, he's right over here. And they're like, wow, he's blind too?
I was shot in the head in Vietnam in 1970, and it left bullet fragments in my head. And in 1993, I was teaching, I was a professor at the University of Colorado, and the bullet fragment in my head moved and caused a stroke in my visual cortex. And I woke up at the hospital, and the surgeon looked at me and said, "You're blind." My vision is pin dots, just straight ahead. And I was angry for a very long time after I lost my eyesight. And my 2 youngest daughters came to me and said, "Dad, you've always loved art. Why don't you get back to it?"
In the beginning, it was encouragement to say that, you know, your life isn't over. Obviously, you still have something to give back. You can relearn to see, relearn to pour your own coffee, relearn to do your art.
I spent 2 frustrating years learning how to do my art again without the eyesight that an artist truly needs. But I figured it out. I switch back and forth now between 5 different lenses while I'm working. And my art eventually got me so busy, I forgot to be angry. And my problem is I enjoy too many types of art.
He's taken that leap, done so well, and then broken through those boundaries to create something new. He started by doing the VA and a lot of smaller shows, a lot of things that are disability oriented, but I felt like his work was getting much better and deserved a broader audience, and so I wanted him to start getting into more events around town.
I see an empty space, and I paint in the way that I see, so you're actually looking through empty space to see the image. All the art hangs freely in space on the strands. So that exploration of empty space is what led me from the monofilament to the abstract linears that I'm doing now, because it's a continuation of that exploration of empty space. They look at my abstracts and they realize there's the painting in front, but there's no shading. And then they realize that all the shading comes from the abstract design in the back. and it engages people. And to me, art should engage.
I think art is something that speaks to everybody on such a different level. It gives everybody such a different perspective to themselves, to the world they personally live in. I think art can heal.
It made me overcome my anger. It gave me purpose. When I get discouraged, I get frustrated, I look up and there's that sentence. And I wrote that for myself. A man with a vision is never truly blind.
And that's it for this edition of Arts Upload, but not to worry, there'll be another show next week.
Featuring jazzman Eddie Moore and poetry from Monique Gabrielle Salazar.
As we get ready to wrap it up here at Arts KC, how about some pictures of Pompeii, the new exhibit at Union Station.
Till then, I'm Maris Aylward.
And I'm Randy Mason. Stay warm.
Production funding for Arts Upload has been provided in part by Muriel McBrien Kaufman Foundation, Hall Family Foundation, Francis Family Foundation, the Hartwig Family, Courtney S. Turner Charitable Trust, and viewers like you. Thank you.